We continue the conversation about coexisting with rattlesnakes and other venomous creatures with a couple of experts on these topics. Dr. Leslie Boyer is an associate professor of pathology at the University of Arizona, and she is also the director of the VIPER Institute. VIPER stands for Venom, Immunochemistry, Pharmacology, and Emergency Response. Also here is Dr. Adrian Quijada Mascareñas. He also works at VIPER, and he's a researcher at the university's School of Natural Resources and the Environment. We'll start with you, Adrian. If you could tell us a little bit about the number or types of rattlesnakes that we can find here in Arizona.
The state of Arizona is very privileged in terms of the number of species that we see here. There is 13 different species in different kind of landscapes and habitat. When we think about the species in Arizona, we'll think about the desert species, but actually you can see them in the mountains, in the canyons, and they are just one of the most richest, at least in the Sonoran Desert, states so far.
Okay, and I'll ask you about some of the common species in a minute, but Dr. Leslie Boyer, so approximately everybody wants to hear this all the time, the number of snake bites that people can expect to find in the state.
Arizona has the highest per capita snakebite rate in the United States. Each year it varies, but we have several hundred, 300 or 400 snake bites statewide during the course of the year.
And how is it broken up into? We were speaking about the demographics, if you will, of the people that are bitten by rattlesnakes.
When we look retrospectively at the cases that have been reported to the Arizona Poison Control System, we find we can divide snakebite in Arizona into 3 categories, and they're approximately equal groups. 1/3 of bites involve women. Women who are most likely to be bitten between the ages of 45 and 60 years are also most likely to be bitten on the foot. Almost all women have foot bites that occur in the morning or the evening and the times of year when snakes are out. They happen because women didn't watch closely enough when they went to take the trash out or to go to the car. The other 2/3 of Arizona snake bites are almost evenly divided between men bitten on the foot and men bitten on the hand. Men who are bitten on the foot have a demographic profile that looks very similar to women bitten on the foot. These are accidental bites where people didn't see what bit them. The final third, which is men bitten on the hand, tends to affect men between the ages of 30 and 45 years. And it does include, by definition, people who had every chance not to be bitten but didn't avail themselves of it. They approached the snake.
Okay. And Dr. Quijada Mascareñas, what are some of the common snakes here, let's say in our region, and what should one do if one comes across these snakes?
Right. The most common is the Western Diamondback Rattler. This one is the one that always, when you think about the West, you think about this particular species. That's the most common one, I will say. Then there is the Mojave rattlesnake. And both are the main causes of bites, accident bites in Arizona. But then we have the mountains species. We have the state rattlesnake. We have a state rattlesnake in Arizona. It's the rich-nosed rattlesnake, beautiful. And also we have almost an exclusive species of Arizona. That's the Arizona black rattlesnake. Beautiful animal. Yeah.
And obviously you're a fan because you love nature, and so you like these creatures, but you also have respect for them, right?
I do, in terms of cultural background, also as a biologist. And there is a new generation of people that are, towards that kind of idea of respect towards the snakes. And there is a lot of issues in conservation as well. But the best thing that we can do is just to respect the animal and keep a distance.
Okay. And Dr. Boyer, if somebody does happen to be bitten, what's next? What occurs medically?
Well, first I would agree the best thing is not to get bitten. And if you just don't go toward it, there's a good chance you won't be bitten. But if you are bitten, there's no need to have a serious panic. In the United States, there are only a handful of deaths each year, perhaps fewer, and almost all of these happen with people who chose to delay going in for care for one reason or another. What you need to do if you're bitten by a rattlesnake is to call 911 and get yourself transported with someone else driving, not you, as quickly as possible to an emergency room. The nearest one is your best choice.
And then what happens? Is there antivenom that's used on the person, or does it all depend on a case-by-case basis?
It's case by case because there's a tremendous variety of ways that people can have the effects of venom. But in most cases, yes, antivenom is the answer. Antivenom is a product that will neutralize the effect of venom once it's taken into circulation in the body. And the sooner that you can get antivenom, the better your outcome will be.
Okay. And Dr. Quijada Mascareñas, if anybody wants to observe not only snakes but other animals in Arizona, there's obviously lots of different options, right? They're among us.
Well, first of all, I will say a museum is a good start.
Okay.
Then you start to learn. Then if you decide to go to nature, then you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared and think that a good distance using a camera is the best way to avoid any kind of situation.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Adrienne Quijada Mascareñas, Dr. Leslie Boyer, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.